Okay, so after filing, it started with the number one cylinder. So how the engine counts, it counts this way on the 4G63T. 1, 2, 3, 4. This side being towards the firewall, this side being towards the bumper, the front of the car, cam gears to the driver's side. So for the number one compression ring, I wanted to target 20 thousandths of an inch. And let's see what we got going on here. Just like that. Nice and easy. No binding. It slides right through. I'm at an angle, it's kind of hard to film and do the. But yeah, it's at 20 thousandths of an inch right there. So yeah. Open it just a little bit more just to, have the feeler gauge slide in freely, but looks good to me. So we're gonna just give you a little run through the rest on a quick flash. Alright, cool. So now we're finished with all the cylinders. I'm literally on my last bottom compression ring for my last cylinder. And just verifying that we got that end gap target achieved. So my target that I went with was 25 thousandths of an inch on the bottom compression ring. And then on the top compression ring, I went 20 thousandths of an inch. Only because this car is going to be seeing boost. In my opinion, 20 and 25 is good enough for a boost. If I was running like a boosted V8 application, then I'd probably rock like 20 thousandths of an inch. But it's all up to you. It all depends. You can't go wrong with anything more than 20 thousandths on an inch for boosting. So as far as I know, it will support up to 1300 or less on 20 thousandths of an inch. So I'm pretty good with that. So that's what I'm gonna use this block. So when you get done, just make sure you kind of deburr the edges though of all the rings. Make sure you check the edges, make sure that they're not burrs. Also, it's good practice to kind of like run the edges through their respective groove in the skirt, or the crown rather. So yeah, just like that. Make sure everything is nice and squeaky. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put this in the box, and I just write numbers on them when I check them off. That way I know that they're finished. I just put a little check mark, and then the numbers indicate to whatever cylinder they go. So this is number 4. Obviously, it indicates goes to number 4 cylinder. So that. So I'm gonna take you over to the bench real quick and show you how I put the pistons together. Alrighty. Let's do this in one little shot. So we right here. I'm gonna show you how I put the rings on the pistons. So I went ahead and numbered my pistons too for the block. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all the pistons kind of cleaned up with some compressed air, and then I'm gonna put them on. All right, cool. So now I just went ahead and cleaned out the cylinders, got those all clean real quick just beforehand. So now I'm gonna show you guys how I put the pistons on. I already got the air through them already. So let's go ahead and grab our first piston. All right, so here's our number 1 piston. We know that it's facing that way. So this would indicate where the cam gears go. This is the back of the block, as far as where the firewall is at, right here, and forward of the block would be where the notches are located. So we already identified that we got our gaps already lined up properly. We got our oil ring rail at the bottom with the gap should be over here. And then we got a top gap over here and our ring rail gap right here. So first thing you want to do, grab your number 1 piston box. Grab your number 1, and you're going to start with your second compression ring. So how you tell the difference on the compression rings, the shiny ring is going to be the ring that goes on the top, and it's usually pretty harder material rather than the second ring, which goes on the bottom. So here you go. You can clearly see that this one's shiny and this one is not. Side by side, shiny, not shiny. This one also has a kind of a step down. It's called a napier. That's what it's called. It's a napier, and it acts as an oil scraper in the cylinder. So that's what that does. Then this little number, I don't know if you can see that. There's a number on there. That indicates the top. There it is, N150. That indicates that the compression ring actually goes on like this as compared to upside down. So this indicates the top, and in this case they both have that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with this one first. Given that your gaps are already good, let's go ahead and proceed. I'm gonna run through the first piston, and then I'm just gonna time lapse the rest of them. So with the schematic, it will tell you where to orient them properly. So if you look right here, it will say the second compression ring is supposed to be by this exhaust relief port right here. So second compression ring, gap should be right here. So we're gonna start over here, and that's gonna go on the second ring groove. So just bring you in close so I can do it real quick. Okay, start right here, and be very careful when you're doing this because you don't want to break the ring. So this is just pretty much how I do it. So I put it in right, just like that. Make sure it's in, hold it with your finger, and spiral it around. Just like that. We're in, and then phase the gap by the relief port here. You can see that. So there we got our second compression ring installed with the number facing upwards of the piston. And make sure you have no binding when you put them in. If you do have binding when you put them in, take them out and deburr them. All right, let's go ahead and do the top compression ring. The top compression ring comes over here to the opposite relief port. Gonna make sure the number signifying up, and then I'm gonna put it on here. Okay, so we're over here. And so this goes right in here. Just like that. And spiral it around. And then check that there's no binding issue. So when all said and done, it should look like this. So you should have your oil ring rail gap right here in the middle. Then you should have your bottom oil ring right there. Then your top oil ring right there. And then your bottom number 2 compression ring right here. And your number 1 compression ring right here. So you never want to have them lined up is the aim, and this is how you install the compression rings. Gap them, clock them, and phase them. So I'm gonna just do a quick little run through, putting on the rings on this one, and then move on real quick. I'm just gonna set this one off to the side. This one's finished.